Hello, guys. I trust I find you well. I hope you guys enjoyed your break and that you are refreshed and ready to roll again. Okay, so I'm just going to take you through a recap of what we've covered so far under the topic evaluating arguments. So we've established that evaluation relies on identification and explanation. So we need to know what we are assessing and we need to pick out its strengths and weaknesses before we can make a judgment about its value or accessibility. So remember, in when we're evaluating something, we are weighing things, we are weighing weaknesses, we're weighing strengths so that we can make a judgment. Okay, so here is a situation where we are looking at an argument. Okay, we identify and we make explanations and we pick out strengths and weaknesses before we can then make a judgment about its value or acceptability. Okay, so if you look at the word evaluation, you will see the word value. Okay, so what we're really essentially trying to do is look at, make a judgment about the value or acceptability of an argument. Okay, and I guess you have come across terms like assess or questions like to what extent or how convincing. And these terms are often used as equivalents to evaluate. So you have probably come across these type of terms or questions in your examinations, in your long answers, um, even in your other subjects. Okay, so basically, when you see these terms, they refer to the same process of weighing up and making judgments about parts of an argument. Okay, so deconstruction is the first stage of the critical path, and it is actually concerned with identifying parts of arguments and explaining how they work in order to make decisions about which arguments are stronger and which arguments are weaker. So essentially, that is what you find in the first stage of the critical path, deconstruction. Okay, so how can we measure arguments? So there are three things that we look at. The first is structure, second is evidence, and the third is context. Okay, so I'll again explain briefly what each aspect or facet actually looks at. So structure, the structure of the argument is when we actually look at how closely the reasons relate to the conclusions and how effectively different lines of argument support one another. Um, the structure, by definition, is the organization of a text and how each element within it is placed together. Evidence is facts or other data supporting reasons or claim. So the evidence supporting the argument, we are looking at, what type of evidence has been used, the quality of the pieces of evidence that have been used, the quantity of evidence that have been used to back up reasons. The third is context. When we look at context, we're looking at factors that are outside the source and its argument, such as its author, where was it published, and these are factors that actually affect its meaning. So the context of the argument is when we look at who wrote it, where was it published, when was it written, and these, like I said, affect its meaning. Okay, so that's just a quick recap of what we have covered so far. And of course, as we move forward, we will put all these things into context and obviously come up with examples and the necessary activities to help you to grasp these concepts. All right, so that is it for this particular video, and I will be sending you a couple of other videos just reminding you and explaining a few key terms under evaluating arguments. All right, goodbye.